Welcome to another edition of our Monday night shiur. Today our shiur is sponsored by the Chaimo family. Latzlachatam as a Sudat Hodaya. It's interesting how we started this Hodaya thing a while back, and Baruch Hashem we've having so many Hodayas. To say thank you to Hashem, it's so important. As the Gemara says, in the future, all the korbanot are going to be cancelled, all the mizmorim are going to be cancelled, except for mizmor le-todah. Except for saying thank you, because to say todah, not R.Shalom, not that God forbid, when Mashiach comes, because it's weird, right? We're all praying for Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Beit HaMikdash is going to be there, but we're only going to bring one korban todah. Are you kidding me? Korban hatat, korban shlami, korban asham, korban ha'idah. So many korbanot, they're all going to be cancelled? No, you got to learn the Gemara correctly. But all the Leshem Shova Achlama explains that all the korbanot and all the mizmorim are going to be natural to us. There will be no chidush in them. We will perceive God in them automatically. Except for one thing. Todah. Still to say thank you will be a chidush for us. That's how hard it is to say thank you. That's why R.Shalom Arush says in one of his Sfarim, I think it's called Sefer HaTodah, something like that. When you raise your kids, he says, the first word you should teach them is Todah, thank you. Always, that's the first thing you should teach them. Interestingly speaking, when my kids, they're already 4, 3, they're talking age, first thing I always teach them, Todah. When we went to PTA and UPK and stuff like that, so the teacher, as usual kids, they have a lot of things to say, these teachers. But he says, but one thing I'm telling you, your kids are the most polite in the class. Always say thank you, always say please, always say you're welcome. Why? When you instill in them that intuition that you always have to be grateful for what you have, that's the greatest midah in the world. And that's why, what are we called? Out of all the things, Yehudim. We're called Yehudim, right? What's Yehuda? Lehodot, to be thankful. To the point where Moshe Rabbeinu, check this out, Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't hit the Yeor, the river, with his staff. He couldn't hit it. Why? Because to be grateful. You have to be grateful that the water, it's an inanimate object. Water. It's inanimate. Okay, so it carried it. With the current it went. No, Hashem says. Even that, you have to say Todah. And he couldn't hit the floor to bring out the lice. Kinim. Why? Because the floor, the sand swallowed the Egyptian. Now we all know a little bit Ariya Kadosh over here. We always try to instill some Ariya Kadosh. The Ariya Kadosh says, how did Moshe Rabbeinu kill the Egyptian? He said 3 letters of Hashem's name. Chaf, Hey, and Taf. He thought of these 3 names. He had the kavanah that he was supposed to have. And suddenly the sand opened up, swallowed up the Egyptian. These letters, Chaf, Hey, Taf. So there's a question now. If Moshe Rabbeinu, how did he open up the earth to swallow up the Egyptian? He had the kavanah. It's not like the earth, on its own accord, opened up and swallowed up the Egyptians. So why does Moshe have to give things to the earth? Ela, the proof is, Kol Sheken, even if you think you were the one who used Shema Meforash, and you did whatever you had to do to open up the earth and bring it the Egyptians, still the earth opened up, still you got to give thanks. There were tzaddikim, they say about the Chazon Ish, one of my favorite stories of the Chazon Ish, he was one of the greatest Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael in the birth of the nation. The state of Israel, it's called. The Chazon Ish was considered the authority of Eretz Yisrael. The authority. And they say about him, he never had children. Lo aleinu. His wife was a bit, let's call it 50-50. And he couldn't get rid of her. Because the halacha is, the woman has to take the get mida'ata. She has to be sane. And to marry a second wife, you need heter mea rabbanim. You need 100 rabbis to give an okay to marry a second wife. So she never allowed him to mekayim himself puravu. The story goes like this, the way I heard the story. And I heard the story more than once. That when he passed away first, the Chazon Ish. He was the brother-in-law, I believe, the brother-in-law of the Stipler. I believe. That's the Stipler is the father of Chaim Kanievsky. So imagine who Chaim Kanievsky is. Imagine who the Stipler was. Imagine who the Chazon Ish was. Ben Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel. He made the law that the Jewish girls don't have to go to the army because of the Chazon Ish. Ben Gurion, who was one of the biggest atheists. He was an atheist. He was the first prime minister of Israel. So imagine what the Chazon Ish was. When the Chazon Ish passed away, his wife was still alive. And usually, in a Yeshua, in a Yortzeit, in a Levaya, we don't let women talk, right? She said, I want to say something. What is this? Woman speaking in public. Take it easy. She said, I want to say one thing about my husband, the Chazon Ish. She said like this, listen to this very carefully. She said, the coat that he wore when he got married is the same coat that he died with. That's what she said. So you don't know my husband. The same coat. You see this coat he wore when he got married was the same coat he passed away with. That means in how many years he was married? 30, 40 years? He never once changed his coat in his life. He never once looked for materialistic pleasures. Wow. Once the Chazon Ish was coming out of an elevator, there's a halakha that men shouldn't look in a mirror. It's a halakha like that in Shulchan Aruch. It's mifurash. So why are people today looking at themselves in the mirror? Because it's kvar dashu barabim. It's already became like a man thing and a woman thing. It's not anymore a woman thing. But today, unfortunately, I think men look more than the women. But whatever. Chazon Ish never looked at himself in the mirror. He was coming out of the elevator once out of some kind of conference, and there was a mirror there. He didn't realize, and he saw himself in the reflection. He didn't realize who it was. He didn't know how he looked like. Unbelievable. He didn't know how he looked like. The Chazon Ish didn't know how he looked like. Right away, he bent his head down and he started to run. And the Talmidim started. He was one of the greatest Rabbanim, maybe the first great Rabbi of Eretz Yisrael. And they started running out and said, Rebbe, what are you doing? He says, who was the Talmid Chacham that I just saw right now? Who was that? And they said, Rebbe, that's you. He said, what do you mean that's me? That was a mirror. You know how bad he felt that he looked at himself in the mirror. This is the Chazon Ish, Rabotai. This was the Chazon Ish. These are Chachamim. And this is not 100 to 300 years ago. This is right Bekuma Medina. How many years is Eretz Yisrael? Is Medinat Yisrael? 72, I think. 72, 73, 72. Okay, and who's? Hello! It's not that so far away. And look what kind of Chachamim we had. Look what kind of Tzaddikim we had. When the Chazon Ish saw the Stipler, the father of Chaim Kanievsky, and he had a sister, I believe. I think it was a sister. They went on a shidduch with him. And the Chazon Ish sent his sister to meet the Stipler. He was the Shadchan. And the Stipler was not feeling well that day, and he sent her, he said, I can't meet you right now. Then when she came back the next day, she went to him. And he was in a shiur. And she said to the Chazon Ish, her brother, I said, I don't want to marry this guy. Look, what kind of guy is this? I'm going once, twice. He doesn't want to... Usually a guy has to be a bit excited to meet the girl. So the Chazon Ish says, listen, your love life, I don't know how it's going to be. But I promise you one thing. You're going to have children that are Talmidei Chachamim. That's reason enough to marry this guy. And Stipler was a young guy back then. He was just a young bachur. And she married him. And he became the Stipler. Who was the Stipler? He went through the gauntlet. You know what the gauntlet is? In Russia, he was in the Russian army. In Russia, back then, in the Russian army, if you didn't be Mechalel Shabbat, if you were in Mechalel Shabbos, if you didn't desecrate Shabbos, they made you pass through 2 rows of soldiers. and they would beat you. If you would live by the end of the gauntlet, you lived. That was your deen, your zakai. If you would die in the middle, that means you're Sodom va'Amorah, Sodom and Gomorrah. And nobody wants to play a game that they're going to lose. So obviously the whole point of the gauntlet was what?
To kill you.
To kill you. Once he kept Shabbat. What was his keeping Shabbat? Back then, the soldiers were allowed one fur coat. One fur coat. Not wool, fur. They were in Siberia somewhere. And a soldier that was in the night watch left his coat on the tree. On the tree. The sniper didn't take the coat from the tree. Why? Muktzeh. He's going to move the tree. He's going to be muktzeh. He's going to cause something to happen to the trees. And muktzeh. And he stood all night like this freezing. Instead of rewarding him, why did you freeze on the job? Like somebody's going to come in Siberia in the middle of the night to do some surprise attack. And what did they do, Rabotai, to him? They made him pass through the guy. He says, Mutab, he said. This is the Slaip, it's the brother-in-law of the Chazon Ish. He said, it's better for me to pass the guy with Michalel Shabbos. What they felt when they were keeping Shabbat Kodesh, Rabotai. And he passed and he lived. Who was he? Some skinny Jewish boy. Who were those Russian guys eating pork? Shkatzim, Rumasim. The Gemara says that pork is one of the tastiest meats. And there is a fish called shibuta. You know what shibuta is? It's a fish. Pork fish. Pork fish. It's a fish, but it tastes exactly like PIG. We don't say the word. Lashon Nikiya. It's a fish, it tastes exactly like I don't want to say. This tameh thing. And whatever the case is, let's not get off on a tangent over here. Look how Rabotai our Chachamim, you listening? Look how our Chachamim gave their lives up for Torah. And these going eating PIG, eating shkatzim, rumasim. I told you guys this on Shabbat, and my Mincha of Shabbat shiur. I had a friend of mine, I went to China where the whole thing is going on over there. Yeah, whatever. Who knows what's going on? It's a communist country. Who knows what the heck is going on over there? So he said he went to a restaurant over there. He's not a religious guy. Not observant, nothing. He went over there and they served him the delicatessen of the dog, let's call it. You know, that was there. That's the guy's delicious thing. Huh? Doulonge, he ate it. You know, he's not observant. He ate it, he enjoyed it. But it's at that point. I'm sure he threw up afterwards. It's at that point. The point is the goyim eat shkatzim urmasim. Does it taste good? Yes. What's the negative feedback? The neshama cannot accept elakut. Cannot accept godliness anymore. Between me and you, you work all day. You come home to learn daf of Gemara. Could you learn? Did you do any averot when you were at work? Adarabba, you went to work. You said Lashem Yehud Kuchav V'Rakush Chimdeh. I'm going to work to mefarnes my family. You come exactly, and you come back. It's the first thing you learn. When you come back, is it easy for you to learn? Forget about it. Just the tiredness of the goof. It can't let you learn. How much more so we have to give 2 thumbs up to those guys, which is everyone sitting over here, that goes to Shiur Torahs at nights. You guys over here are heroes. I don't know if you know this. You overcame your goof, you overpowered your goof, and you with your neshama. It's unbelievable. But okay, no, enough with the compliments. So a person who comes to Shiur Torah, Rabotai, and what gives you this power? If it's not that nitzotz. You know something called a nitzotz. I say nitzotz in English. Spark. A spark. I love that word. A spark. There's a spark inside every single one of you guys. You hear that? There's a spark every single one of you guys that no matter what, the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad says, you take any Jew, Mechalel Shabbat, he doesn't keep Shabbos. he doesn't keep kosher, he doesn't keep anything, you tell him, do avodah zarah. What is he going to say? Yehareg v'al ya'avor. Take my neshama. Why? The nitzotz can't, he doesn't let it. The nitzotz, that spark inside every single one of us doesn't let us. Yesterday we spoke in our shiur, last week we spoke in our shiur, says, what's wrong with the teenagers these days? They don't have a drive. They lost the drive, but it's not exciting, Why isn't it exciting anymore, Judaism? I'll tell you why it's not exciting. You see, the body, it's easy to stimulate. The body, it's easy to stimulate. Why is it easy to stimulate the body? Everything in this world is materialistic. To stimulate materialism with materialism is easy. It's easy. Why? You take a guy. I don't know about you guys. I once looked at a person's phone. I'm not going to say who it was. In the new iPhones, they have screen time. How many hours a day you were on your... It's a new thing, right? The new iPhones. And I looked at the person's iPhone. He was on his phone. It was a Sunday, so it updates every Sunday, the beginning of the week. The guy was on his phone 6 hours and 38 minutes. Per day. I remember when I was on my phone, before I deleted a couple of apps, I was out there for about an hour and 45 minutes. I was insane. I'm like, how am I spending an hour and 45 minutes on this thing? I went almost insane. This person was on the phone for 6 hours and 38 minutes. So I went to this person and I said, I want to tell you one thing. You taught me a lesson. If I would learn Torah as much as you are on your phone, I promise you I would be Rav Yosef today. Six? That's, what is that, a fourth of your day? A third of your day? A fourth of your day? A fourth of your day? That's a quarter. That's a quarter you keep in your pocket. You don't put it to the, Why are we so stimulated by these things? Because our bodies are materialism. This thing is materialism. It stimulates us. It makes us excited. Your body feels pleasure. Why doesn't Torah make us feel pleasure? You know why? Because it's really innately good. Anything that's good takes time. As I tell my kids, savlanut. You need savlanut. How do you teach a kid to enjoy life? You teach him patience. My kid says baslanut. Doesn't say savlanut. It says baslanut. You need patience in life. I want to read you a Gemara. This is a Gemara that you guys all know. I'm pretty sure you all know. I'm not here to mechadesh to you anything. I'm here to tell you things that you guys already know. May I? This small Gemara, Masechet Shabbat, Daf Peichet. Simano, hapach nishbar, v'anachnu nimnatnu. Ezreinu b'shem Hashem. It's a small Gemara. I'm going to read to you. I have to find it now. Okay, I think I did. Darash hahu glila'a. There was a certain Galilean from the Galil, Tzfat, up there in Israel that made a drasha. It said a drasha. He came to Iraq and he went to Rav Hasda, not Rav Haisda. It's wrong. Ashkenazim say Rav Haisda. That's the wrong way of saying it. It's Rav Hasda. Rav Hasda. He went to Rav Hasda and he gave a drasha. He gave a speech. He said, Barich Rachamana. Blessed is the merciful one. Who's that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashem. Deyahiv Urian Tilitai Le'am Tilitai. He gave the Torah, which is the third. The third. What does that mean, the third? Le'am Tilitai, to the third nation. Al Yedei Tilitai, by three. He gave the Torah, which is three, to the nation, which is three, by a person who is three. Beyom Tilitai, on the third day. Beyarcha Tilitai, on the third month. Keman, Kirabanan. Like who is this? The Rasha, like the Rabbanan. So let's understand. First of all, let's understand. What does that mean, the Torah that is three? Maybe somebody here knows? Can I hear some nitzotz kedusha and somebody over here?
The oral.
Kol hakavod. I didn't think anybody's gonna get that. Kol hakavod. Tanakh. Torah is 3. Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. Le'am tilitai. It's a nation of 3. It's easier. That he didn't say avot tilitai. He said le'am tilitai. A nation has 3. I'll give you a hint. Sefer Torah. Aywa. Kohen, Levi, Israel. Al yedei tilitai. By 3. How is by 3?
Rashi or this Tosfos?
This is Rashi, John. Only Rashi. We're Sfaradim. I'm just kidding. What's the Al yedei tilitai?
3 prayers?
3 prayers? No. What does it mean by the 3? It was given by the 3. Who's the 3? No, they didn't give the Torah. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Kol hakavod. Beyom tilitai. On the 3rd day. What's on the 3rd day? How many days did God say to separate from your wives before He gave you the Torah? 3 days, He said. Beyarcha tilitai. On the 3rd month. What's the 3rd month? Sivan. Kol hakavod. Kol hakavod. But there's an anomaly here. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I understand you like the number 3. Gililai. Doesn't even say his name. They want to give this drasha. You like the number 3? You found a nice drasha with the number 3. What's this 3? The Gemara says, Amarle. The Gemara says that there was an Amorah that said, Ama Piziza. Boker Tov. Ama Piziza, a nation that's too, it doesn't think. They do things right away. De kadmitu pumaychu la'adunaychu. Your mouths were faster than your ears. What does that mean? Your mouths are faster than your ears. What do they say? Na'aseh and nishma. So the Jews have 2 qualities that it's their curse and it's their blessing. Number 1, we make decisions too fast. You give us something? What's the catch? Oh, there's no catch? Yalla, let's go. We'll take it. We'll take 2. Double for nothing, you know? The goyim, he went to everyone over there. No. Second thing, we're am ksheoref. Once we have it, we have to kind of convince you that it was a good deal. So there's 2 things the Jews have. Baruch Hashem, it works well together, right? But the secret is, Rabotai, I'll tell you the secret of both midrashim. This is the Parashat Yisro. I'm going to tell you something. I know it's hard to have a constant inspiration to learn Torah, to teach Torah, to do Torah. I know it's hard. Why? Because we're so surrounded by our physical stimulations. Then we come to shul once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. Then we get that burst of Judaism, right? Some people will ask them to the front door. Some people will ask them to the outer door. Some people will ask them to their car. To the chazak, the strong guy, and last them, maybe till tomorrow. To the halakha, there's a Gemara that says, Masachet Barachot. Tell you this Gemara. The Gemara says, be very careful. When you pray, don't pray with frivolity. Frivolity, yes, thank you. English language. Don't pray out of, you're joyful, like you're doing some kind of dance. Pray with bir'ada. Pray with trepidation. One time Abai was sitting in front of Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef was his Rebbe, he was blind. Why was he blind? I'm telling something crazy. Rav Yosef's Rebbe's Rebbe was Rav Abba Arichta. He was one of the greatest. Basically, everybody in the Gemara is his students in some way. Rav Abba Arichta. In short, we call him Rav. Just a Rav, you know? So Rav, he had one kind of minhag where he wouldn't, when he would walk, he wouldn't look outside his 4 amot. He would just he would always look down. So when he passed away, all of his students took one of his minhagim, and one of his students took his minhag was Rav Sheshath. Rav Sheshath said, I'm going to look always down like my Rebbe, because I got to fill up the void. Couldn't hold himself. So he said, because I cannot hold what my Rebbe did, Hashem give me blindness.
Wow.
He prayed for his own blindness. Unbelievable. And Rav Yosef was his student. He took upon himself the minhag of his Rebbe, Rav Sheshath.
Be blind?
So yeah, to be blind. Just so you shouldn't overcome his Rebbe's minhag, not to look. Now it says when a person is blind, chashuv kemet, you forget your Torah. Right? You forget your Torah? So Rav Yosef was one of the greatest Amoraim, one of the greatest. In the Gemara, you see him like every page, every 2 page, 3 pages. At one point, Rav Yosef forgot a lot of his Torah. He forgot a lot. So what happened one day, and his student Abaye reminded him of much of his Torah. That means, we say there's a mitzvah of Gimut Chasim to do kindness. How do you do kindness, Rabotai? You see a guy who's having a hard time carrying the shopping, right? You help him with the shopping. You see a person who's, he needs some kisset. It's tzedakah. Kindness is kindness. Did you know there's a certain kind of kindness to remind the person their halacha that they forgot? Abaye reminded Rav Yosef all the halachot he forgot. One day Abaye was praying and he was laughing while he was praying. He was laughing. Now the Gemara says in the day of the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, all the gates have been closed. Forget about it. You prayed. It's closed. Except for one gate, Rabotai.
Tears.
The gate of tears. And could anybody tell me a second Gemara that says another gate? Laughter, teshuva,
Cry. Gates of
thankfulness,
tears.
prayers, tears. Nobody? Simcha? No, they're all closed, those gates. Parnasah is definitely closed. Only in Rosh Hashanah it's open. In P'tichat De'echa Parnasah. The gates when you make fun of a person, it's called ona'ah. When you put somebody down, at that moment his gates are all open. It's Masechet Iruvin. All gates are closed, chutz mishare ona'ah. I believe it's Iruvin, don't quote me on that, but it's a Gemara. Chutz mishare ona'ah, that's the words of the Gemara. So it's really similar gates, right? Because if you put down, what do you start to do? You start to cry, right? At least some people. So there's 2 gates that are always open. When you put somebody down, those gates are always open for him at that moment. That's why Rav Chaim Kanevsky used to say a sigula. When you put somebody down at that moment, ask him for a bracha. What? It's a Gemara. It's not some kind of sigula chadasha. It's a Gemara. And Sharei Dim'ah. Sharei Dim'ah is never closed. So therefore, Rabotai, what do we see from here? And when a person gives his neshama for Torah, for mitzvot, because he feels the power of Torah and mitzvot. Not because it's something his parents did, his grandparents did, his great-grandparents did, his great-grandparents did. That's not why you should keep Torah. You should keep Torah because now I left Egypt. I keep Torah because today I live in the sukkah. I keep Torah because now I put on tefillin. So Abaye was wearing tefillin. And Rav Yosef tells him, why are you so, petir, they say in Bulgarian. So he tells him, tefillin kamanachna. I'm wearing tefillin today. And the Mefarshim ask a question. What, he never wore tefillin before in his life? For newly wearing tefillin people. He never wore tefillin before in his life. Suddenly today he's happy? So the Talmidei Ha'ari say a beautiful answer. Some people wear tefillin and they're not really wearing anything. They're wearing a box. Keva, it's keva. You know what keva is? I wore tefillin today, no. I did it yesterday, day before. Some people wear tefillin, it's a new experience every day. But here's the catch, here's the good news. If Abaye was one time with him in the Gemara, so we shouldn't feel that bad, If Abaye happened to him, it's okay, we're also good, we're not that bad. But we should strive to be better. How do we do that? We should strive to know what Hashem wants us to do. He created us for a reason. What's that reason? To have a relationship with him. I was telling this to my kids today. I teach them American history. So we finished the semester. So now I teach them Jewish history. In American history, all heads were down. In Jewish history, all heads are up. Was the neshama once a year. So I was telling them about how the Jews used to go. There was a mitzvah. Soon Mashiach is going to come, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.
I like to hear that. So soon Mashiach is going to come. And we're going to have a mitzvah. We never did this mitzvah. We're talking about rare mitzvah before the shiur. There was a mitzvah to go to Yerushalayim 3 times a year.
Right.
Aliyah regel, and there's a korban we have to give. Korban re'iyah. It's a korban shalamim. So I told the boys, I said, why do you think we brought the korban, this korban? Why do we think we have to go to Yerushalayim 3 times a year? So I told them a Gemara. The Gemara says when you used to go to Jerusalem 3 times a year, to the Beit HaMikdash, to the Har Moriah, to Kodesh HaKodashim, the Kohanim would open up the parochet of Kodesh HaKodashim. Yes, they would open it up. And they used to say, look at how God loves you, because they used to see the cherubs facing each other. When the cherubs face each other, it means God loves us. When they would be facing away, it means yesh ba'ayot, you know what I'm saying? Now this only works in which Beit HaMikdash? The first or the second?
First.
The first. The second one has our own Kodesh? No. We're missing that for a long time. So in the first Beit HaMikdash, I told the guys, check this out. I said, guys, in the first Beit HaMikdash, when they used to go to the regel and they used to see the Shekhinah, the cherubs, they used to feel every Jew prophecy at that moment. That means everyone over here, we would go to the Beit HaMikdash, they would open up the parochet, when we would see the revelation of the Shekhinah rest in between the 2 cherubs' wings, everyone would feel a burst of godliness. And that would last them how long?
To
the next holiday. And Hashem in His infinite wisdom knows that. And that's why He said, go up how many times a year? Now, how many times? What does it say in the Gemara over here? Blessed is the nation that got the Torah, which is 3. By the people who are 3, in the month that are 3, in the day of 3. But what's this 3? Why 3 specifically? In an atom, we have an atom. You guys learn science. How many particles are there in an atom? 3. Electrons, protons, and neutrons. Now check this out, look how beautiful it is. Which holiday is the most days out of these 3 holidays? No. Sukkot. Why? Because Sukkot really starts from where? From when? Where does Sukkot really start from? Before Moshe Kippur. It's really one holiday. From Rosh Hashanah. It's all one real holiday, right? It starts at Rosh Hashanah and it ends at Sukkot. And the atom, which particles are the most? The electrons, right? They're electrons. And what's the whole thing of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot? It's all negativity, right? It's all we're getting judged. We gotta sweeten the judgments, judging. Electrons are the most part of an atom. And which holiday of the Jewish holiday is the most? It's the negative ones. The negatively charged ones. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. Which one is the second most in an atom? Protons. What's the second most? Positive, right? What's the second biggest holiday in the 3 regalim? Pesach. We got 7 days. Okay, it's in the nucleus, right? It's where? Smack in the middle of the year. And which one do we have that's the least? Shavuot, which is what? Neutrons. The neutrons balance out the protons. If it misses a little bit, what does it become? An isotope. It misses up the whole atom. These 3 charges of an atom are really what? Shlosha regalim. Which are based on what? The Liga the Torah, which is 3. Protons, electrons, and neutrons. On the 3, by 3, Moshe, Aharon, Miriam. By the 3, everything 3. Why? Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. When a Jew, remember this, Rabotai, you think you're not doing anything? And I said this to you guys last week. When a Jew takes the book, this Gemara, and he goes like this, he was Ma'ale Rapach Nitzotzi. And he takes this Sefer and he says, Hashem Yitbarach. Goes like this, he picks up Rapach Nitzotzi. And he goes like this, because everything a Jew does, if you would have binoculars right now and see the air around us right now, you would see fire. You guys are charged. You're charged. Something not our cousins across the street could say, and not our, I don't want to say those guys could say. Those guys are way off. They're way off. You know what I'm saying? You guys say, you guys bring the world together. Anyways, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless us. May we realize our worth. May we realize our worth. And may we bring together our nishamot. May we bring the Torah, which is 3. In the month that is 3, by the one who is 3. 3. May we bring together all the 3 columns. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzachot, Yesod, Chochmah, Binah, everything together. May we all be zocheh lebracha, v'atzlacha, yeshuot gedolot. May we all realize the coming of Mashiach Tzidkein. Rabbi Amen, Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chana v'Kashia, Amen. V'atzah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Torah, 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 Torah,